Who buys a C8 Corvette? Ron Rohde here, and we have a really exciting car to review today. 2023 Corvette. This is the ultimate American muscle car. It's the 70th anniversary. We're going to talk about who is this car for and what do you look for if you're thinking about buying a Corvette. Welcome to this review. Smash that like button. It's free. It's good for the YouTube algorithm and it really helps me out. Subscribe if you want more Volvo content and car reviews. So from the exterior, this C8 model has really gotten a lot of positive feedback. Now, some of the criticism is that it's a little bit too Ferrari-esque. It does look very, very angular, but I like the styling. And I think the more that I've driven this car around, the more it's grown on me because it fits a holistic theme. This car, from the very beginning, is all about fighter jet. And so if we take a look around the car, from the very angular headlights that look like they can take your eye out, you've got strong creases in the hood that continue to the front bumper cover. This whole car is fighter jet, and the exterior styling continues that throughout. I mean, look at this front bumper. The angle of this bumper is just incredibly steep. So coming around, we have massive air intakes. I'm not sure if you can see that behind the grille, but there are massive aluminum radiators there for heat exchange. The wheels, very angular. They're 20 spoke. They're new for 2023. They've got Corvette everywhere, which should save a lot of the guys from customizing their car. After they've bought it, they won't need to put Corvette stickers on everything because they've done that for you from the factory. This one is particular is a Z51, and so you've got those red calipers. I've got the top off. If you can take a look in that interior, angles everywhere. It's just very sharp. This car looks like it's going to cut you at any moment. It's like a box of scissors that somebody glued onto a chassis. The car is still hot. I was actually driving it over here and putting some pressure, but the brakes, the tires, the rubber, everything smells. You know, even this rear glass here, it's vented, you get very strong Lamborghini vibes. You know, I think that this rear window is something that exotics do, and we love this window. We love being able to see the engine. This is a mid-engine car. You've got the more vents on the side. The Stingray logo, super cool here. My only criticism maybe of the exterior styling is this rear. It just feels like it got squished a little bit. In the proportions, I get it. You need to be wide to be a race car, but it just looks like somebody squished it a little bit too much, and it's a little bit too extreme. Sharp tail lights, everything is angles, right? There's no round corners. Even the styling Corvette, you've got these angles here. The rear valence, nothing is rounded. Everything is at an angle if it can be squared off. This Corvette has amazing seats. The interior has really stepped up its game. Let's check out the interior. You've got more sharp angles, and there is a electronic release. I think this is definitely the future. You're going to have fewer moving parts. Here's how we get into the car. You've got Stingray on the sill, and you still have this very wide entry. This is a very wide sill, and that's kind of been a hallmark for the tubs for Corvette chassis for a very long time. You know, I used to have a C4 Corvette, and it was always very hard to get into. You were dropping your butt in, and this still retains that very wide sill for the passenger compartment. So just get a beautiful shot of the interior here. This is a top quality car. We've got the carbon on the seats, embossed leather on the headrest. You feel like you're in a premium sports car. So a lot of these buttons here, you have the front control and the rear hatch. Not very accessible, but it gets the job done. So let's take a look at this rear of the boot. Massive. You know, there's just no way to describe the rear of this car except massive. Yeah, we're going to take the target top off. Yeah, and then you get this one. So now that we have the trunk out, you can see not a lot of room. You can definitely fit one rolling suitcase, maybe two, but this is gonna be a tight fit for two people on a longer trip to go to the airport. Love the spoiler though. You know, they've got multiple different options, and this is the low spoiler, but every type of wing to suit your needs. Let's talk a little bit about seating position. I'm not that tall, about 5'11", but I have plenty of room even with the target back on. And what I really like is that the C8, it has that jet fighter theme that's continued throughout the car. So in the cockpit, you've got a small, tight steering wheel. I don't know, some people like the Squircle. You know, it's got a flat top and a flat bottom. It feels very race car, but I like the size. You know, I think this is very easy to control for a car of this size. And the thickness, it could be a little thicker for me personally, but that's just personal preference. All of your controls, you know, push button, gear selector, not my favorite. I still like a manual gear selector because when you have issues, what's going to happen in the future if you hit the D and nothing happens? You hit it again and you're just stuck. You know, you feel very helpless. Whereas a manual gear selector, I like the ability to physically try different things, to quote wiggle it into gear, and if there are any problems with electronics in the future, you're going to be completely at the mercy of ripping apart this whole center console to find a loose wire, that sort of thing. But same thing for this Great Wall. For all the buttons, I think you may as well throw all of this buttons into a touchscreen, because this doesn't really help. I have to hunt and I have to look. So for people that don't have the location memorized, they've got to really focus at looking at the pictures, reading, and trying to figure out which one is sync, which one's auto, which one is max, which one is heated. And it's really just kind of a distraction that if you're going to have all these buttons, I like a layout that is more geographic. So you've got to have locations for passenger and this and AC and radio, and that will be more intuitive. These AC controls, you know, very small, very flimsy. I wasn't getting too hot, but it's about 75 degrees in Dallas and not the hottest. I could easily see this cockpit overheating with very small two vents. You know, I got ventilated seats, but so I could see this car not quite cooling fast enough. But if you're looking for that consistent theme, it is a fighter jet. The question is really, do you want that fighter jet for every single day of your life? Z mode, we changed the display here. You've got the yellow, orange, and red line tachometer, oil temperature, lateral G forces, and you still have your fuel economy. See the track mode settings. It's got much more analog RPM counter. You have real-time tire pressure, oil pressure.
Oh yeah, this is great. Look at this. So you get the standard one here.
Yeah.
Of course, there's not a lot of visibility, but
Yeah, it's a lot bigger.
you get that camera sticking in the back there, and it's just like a regular rear view mirror. It's
Yeah,
great.
it's super bright. I love the cockpit though. It's
Oh no,
totally
it feels like a fighter jet. Yep.
Yeah.
Not here, but
It's interesting. It feels
you
like
actually
you don't
have
get...
launch mode on.
No.
Oh, look it up during lunch. But it's a great car, just to like.
I mean, that's not even floor.
No,
I don't want to like
no,
break the
exactly.
rear tires. But it doesn't feel too raw. C6 Z06, and that car is just slams you. Every time you get on the gas, it puts you back.
Yeah.
And this car is like, okay, we're gonna get a lot of power, but it's gonna have a little bit of not lag,
Stability.
but it's gonna be able to
Yeah.
put it down.
Yeah. Like it's just.
The
power
ride
on
is
the
really
bed.
smooth. I mean, part of that I think is
Oh.
a brand new car.
It's got a wireless CarPlay and an Android Auto in it as well.
The visibility is very hard. I love the heads-up display. I'm not sure how easy it is to see, but it's very bright. It's very crisp. One of the nice features is the front axle lift based on GPS location. Auto raising, it really works well. It's super accurate. All right, well, that wraps up this review of the 2023 C8 Corvette. Who should buy this car? It's really going to be only if you're over 60 and you're drawing Social Security. For $100 or for $80,000, I can't see young people driving this car. You've got to be older. You know, they're going to take this out, daily drive it. It's really fun to smash the gas and go fast in a straight line, maybe take it to the track a few times, but I can't see this being a really popular car for younger people. And again, I say younger as in 40s, 50s. If you want a sports car, you're going to get a Porsche. You're going to get an M8. All right, guys, smash that like button, subscribe, drop a comment.